Major funding for NJTV News is provided in part by the members of the New Jersey Education Association, making public schools great for every child, and PSE&G. We make things work for communities.
Tonight on NJTV News, a political power play.
Top Democrats in the legislature will move a budget next week. It's not the one Phil Murphy wants.
What are your car, your watch, and your refrigerator saying about you behind your back? How the Internet of Things is providing opportunities and challenges for small businesses.
Find out how it was constructed. We're in one of the gondolas of the new observation wheel on the Atlantic City Steel Pier.
Plus, a weird Martian bacteria may hold the secret to life on Mars. And free-floating a flag the size of a 5-story building to celebrate history. Those stories and more next on NJTV News.
Live from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway Center in Newark, this is NJTV News with Mary Alice Williams.
Hello, thank you for joining us. A state government shutdown after the June 30th budget deadline is being called a distinct possibility. This after a budget negotiation meeting today between Governor Murphy and legislative leaders ended in what sources characterize as a total breakdown. Senior correspondent Brenda Flanagan reports from Trenton.
When you make cuts, they're not just numbers on a piece of paper. They're people. They're impacts on people.
Senate President Steve Sweeney ratcheted up political pressure in an increasingly bitter state budget drama, packing a room at the State House with advocates whose social programs and services Governor Murphy's budget proposal cut by $77 million total, just to add up the lists on 2 poster boards. Sweeney vowed it's money he'll restore in a state budget Democratic leaders will unveil next week.
These are programs that mattered, that we shut the government for, shut down last year. We shut the government down to ensure the funding of these programs. And we're going to fight again this year because we don't want to shut the government down. We want to pass a budget, but we're not going to let our priorities as a legislature be left behind.
It's a scene that's familiar from past state budget negotiations, though no less emotional for that. Talks between top Democrats and Governor Murphy do continue. They've reached 99% agreement on school aid distribution, Sweeney said.
We asked for meetings. We got it today. We had a couple meetings. At least we were talking. You know, Brent, we're not going to wait until June 30th to pass a budget. That's when all the mischief takes place.
Deep disagreements remain over revenue raisers, sparking the specter of a second government shutdown in as many years. Adding fuel to the political fire, a new ad produced by a group that backs Governor Murphy, which debuted today.
Let's move New Jersey in a new direction.
It highlights Governor Murphy and his progressive agenda and galls the Senate president, who sees it as an attempt to pressure Democrats. Murphy's proposed $37.4 billion budget would raise $1.7 billion in revenue, largely by enacting a millionaire's tax and restoring the sales tax to 7%. Sweeney's budget instead establishes a 2-year surcharge on the corporate business tax, which he considers a windfall from the Trump tax cut.
If we're going to have to tax something, tax corporations that got $2.9 billion for doing nothing. The money fell from the sky.
Governor Murphy responded, "When it came to making the hard choices to fix our problems, my predecessor kicked the can down the road. I won't. New Jersey deserves a real budget that offers real solutions. I have a simple approach. Fix what's broken and make sure that everyone's paying their fair share. New Jersey didn't elect me to paper over problems with the same failed policies of the past."
I believe strongly on some things. He believes strongly on others. I was always taught if you don't like something in a budget process, you got to bring something else to match it. We did. So, you know, if you don't like mine, I don't like yours, then give me something else to talk about.
So here's the calendar. Members of the legislature get a copy of the budget Monday. It goes to committee Tuesday. Sweeney's hoping for a vote by Thursday. After that, it's up to the governor. At the State House in Trenton, I'm Brenda Flanagan, NJTV News.
It's official. New Jersey is kickstarting the Portal Bridge replacement. The century-old rail bridge is a critical transit corridor, a frequent source of commuter delays, and a key piece of the long-anticipated Gateway Tunnel project. The NJ Transit Board authorized borrowing $600 million in Economic Development Authority transportation bonds to fund the project. It's been in limbo since the Federal Transportation Administration questioned the state's commitment to the program.
Because New Jersey has stepped up and the entire local commitment is from the state of New Jersey for this portion of Gateway, for the bridge, the existing Port Authority commitment shifts to the tunnel with the rest of the Port Authority commitment and makes for a stronger application for the tunnel as well.
The state contribution is expected to go a long way toward convincing the Trump administration to provide matching funds for the project. Gateway program development leaders say their application will be resubmitted immediately. The full bridge replacement is estimated to cost roughly $1.5 billion. The ability to connect to the Internet of Things has provided opportunities for businesses, but also raised issues of privacy. Today, a conference where the state's small businesses could learn about tightening their security. Andrew Schmertz was there.
Your car, your watch, and even your refrigerator are or will be talking with one another in the world of the Internet of Things, where devices are all connected.
The key point here is how interconnected everything is getting now. Whether it be your home, your office, your car, it's all connected. But the one piece that a lot of people forget about there is that it all now needs to get secured.
At a symposium in Newark, small businesses were told that cybersecurity is everyone's job, as information has moved from local desktops to the cloud. And while we hear about breaches from the big guys, Yahoo, credit agencies, and retailers, criminals are casing all businesses, looking for a way in.
What these businesses have to understand is the Internet of Things, this is real. Like, if you're a small business and you're not embracing change and looking at things like blockchain and cybersecurity and think that you're immune to all this stuff, you're not.
We know that this is going to change things like the invention of the car, like the invention of the airplane. It's everything in society and in business is going to be different.
And the threat isn't only from the outside. Like bank robberies of the old, sometimes the hacking is an inside job. Michael Penders is a former prosecutor who now helps companies set up defenses.
So that's really where the most risk is now with the insiders, people who have access. If they can compromise someone who does have authorized access and gain access that way.
Often when small businesses look for cybersecurity and IT help, they turn to companies located overseas. But part of the goal of the conference here today is to say that's not needed. There are many firms here in New Jersey that can do the work for them. This conference was organized by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
One of the things we work really hard at is to connect our members. Most often, they don't have the money to market themselves, and we work to connect them through the platforms that we have to make that connection.
Of course, no cybersecurity discussion takes place without a mention of blockchain, the technology behind cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin.
It affects every industry and every business. And sometimes it's a facilitator to make things better. Sometimes it's a disruptor that will change the way things are done.
So next time you visit the fridge for a late night snack, remember, it may know what you're eating and then rat you out to your Fitbit. In Newark, Andrew Schmertz, NJTV News.
Underfunded public worker pensions top the state of New Jersey business. Here with a wrap-up of the day's business news is Rhonda Schaffler. Rhonda?
Mary Alice, the current squabble over the state budget still doesn't focus on one of New Jersey's biggest financial issues. That's according to Tom Byrne, chairman of the State Investment Council. He spoke at a roundtable on the state's economy this morning in Atlantic City at the annual convention of the New Jersey Society of CPAs. Byrne said the state needs to deal with structural reform to address New Jersey's state pension system, which is underfunded by at least $50 billion. Byrne said by 2023, state payments on pensions and health care will consume 26% of the annual budget. He added that financial burden on the state could wipe out any discretionary spending or result in massive tax increases. The healthcare industry is increasingly turning to innovative technology to improve patient care. This week, Hackensack Meridian invested in a company called Pillow, which is designed as an intelligent healthcare companion. Pillow uses voice technology and artificial intelligence to connect patients at home with their caregivers and family members. The Pillow device reminds people to take their medication. If an elderly relative would miss a dose, Pillow would contact a family member. And the device also enables patients to video conference with their doctors. Pillow is the first product Hackensack Meridian funded through its $25 million healthcare innovation program. New Jersey's big pharmaceutical companies made headlines this week. Kenilworth-based Merck got 2 additional FDA approvals for its best-selling drug Keytruda, which is used to treat lung cancer. The FDA says Keytruda can now be used to treat cervical cancer and a rare type of blood cancer. And Johnson & Johnson formally accepted an offer for someone to buy its LifeScan diabetes business. It will receive $2.1 billion for LifeScan, which is being sold to an investment firm. Trade tensions are heating up again between the U.S. and China. President Trump today announced steep tariffs on $50 billion worth of Chinese goods imported into the U.S. The U.S. will begin collecting those tariffs early next month. Now, in return, China late today announced tariffs on $34 billion worth of U.S. goods. According to the Wall Street Journal, the goods include medical devices, seafood, agricultural products, crude oil, and cars. China is New Jersey's 4th biggest export market, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Finally, Kellogg's is recalling its Honey Smacks breakfast cereal because it may be contaminated with salmonella. The Centers for Disease Control reported 73 people became ill after eating the cereal, including 3 here in New Jersey. On Wall Street, stocks closed out the week with a loss. The Dow fell about 85 points, but the NJCU index of New Jersey companies rose about 3. And those are our top business stories.
A Martian dust storm is currently silencing NASA's Opportunity rover, but NASA's rovers have already found evidence on the red planet of ancient organic material, methane, and a bacteria that can turn light into fuel and release oxygen. Could it one day help humans colonize Mars? That's what an international team of scientists is suggesting. Rutgers scientist Professor Paul Falkowski shared some of his insights with Leah Mishkin.
Professor, thank you for joining us here today. Let's talk about NASA's latest discovery, these organic molecules. Tell me a little bit about them.
Well, we've had missions to Mars since the 1970s. We've landed on Mars several times. But the last missions here have been a few years in the making of trying to discover, was there potentially life on Mars in the distant past? And so there were 2 papers that were published last year in a journal called Science, which is one of the most prestigious scientific journals in the world, actually. And the 2 papers reported, in the first paper, it was reported that there was methane on Mars that was seasonal. That means that a Martian year is 1.88 Earth years, so it's almost 2 years. And what they found is that, that there was a peak and then a trough and a peak and a trough over 3 cycles of Martian years, which means that the methane had to come from somewhere, and it comes from what they speculate is what's called clathrates, which is a frozen form of methane, which is geologically preserved. It's found on Earth, and it must seep up through the rocks, and it come through cracks or fissures, and be released when it's a little bit warmer in the year, and trapped when it's a little bit colder. So that was quite exciting because it gave them a feeling for the sources of methane. The second paper was looking at complex organic molecules. So methane is a very simple molecule. It's a carbon atom with 4 hydrogens attached to it. And we obviously burn it as a fuel in our homes to make heat or cook with it. Very, very abundant gas. But the more complex molecules are found in what's called mudstones. And these stones are thought to be at least 3 billion years old. And the molecules in there are not things that we normally find on Earth. So they've been preserved in some way which we don't really understand. The authors didn't take a leap and say, this is proof that there was life on Mars in the distant past.
Right, but it is an indication that they're not ruling it out at this point.
It's a very strong indication that something had to make those molecules that was complex and was preserved.
And I know there are a lot of different initiatives to try to get humans to Mars. There's SpaceX, NASA's working on something as well. Do you think this has an impact on that mission in some way? Well,
getting a human to Mars is a long-term problem. There are several issues that go along with this. One is radiation exposure. It can be extremely high. And this is something that is very, very difficult to control. The second is the duration of the flight would be very, very long. So the weightlessness would be very hard to control. You're in space for many months. And then the third is the payload. How do you get so much mass to Mars and then return it? So these are engineering hurdles that are very difficult to overcome.
But if we do overcome that, we will bring you back here to discuss it.
Definitely. I mean, every astronaut in the NASA astronaut pool, every astronaut is dying to go to Mars. But let's hope they don't die getting there or back. So that's the issue. Every time we send a human being into space, the administrator has to sign off personally that that human being has a very, very high probability of returning alive.
Well, a very interesting discovery, and thank you so much for being here, Professor.
Thank you very
we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
From deep space to the deep sea, that tops tonight's Garden State Express. Our first stop, Cape May, and a final farewell to the Twin Capes Ferry. The decommissioned 1970s vintage vessel has been stripped down, cleaned out, and tugged 26 nautical miles east into the Atlantic and sunk some 21 fathoms deep to become part of an artificial reef. Joining other famous vessels, officials say are attracting all manner of marine life, including tuna, sharks, and even barracudas. Officials estimate that 1 million passengers crossed the Delaware Bay on the Twin Capes during its thousands of sailings. Now it sleeps with the fishes. Next to Jersey City, awakening artistic talent, high school students from schools all over the city take art classes through the 4-year Jersey City Arts program, at the end of which seniors get to showcase their work at the landmark Lowe's Jersey Theater's Grand Lobby in Journal Square. Drawing on their own life experiences, they've made portraits of family, friends, and fantasy people, and interviews with the artists indicate they've developed new self-portraits in the process. Finally, Hoboken, where a balloon artist is soaring, hot air balloon pilot Barry DeLibero created a 5-story tall, flag-shaped hot air balloon, which was blown up at Stevens Institute of Technology. At 53 feet tall and 78 feet wide, the world's largest free-flying American flag balloon will join 99 other sport and specially shaped balloons that will fly at the 36th annual QuickCheck New Jersey Festival of Ballooning next month in Reddington. But on Flag Day, it was inflated to celebrate the first successful manned hot air balloon flight in America 225 years ago, when on January 9th, 1793, Frenchman Jean-Pierre Blanchard flew from Philadelphia across the Delaware to Deptford, where he landed. And that's our Garden State Express for Friday, June 15th. Something up in your neighborhood? Tip us off. State Attorney General Gurbir Grewal has been on the job for just 6 months, but he's already filed more than 30 lawsuits against the Trump administration, opposing the Muslim ban and the ending of DACA, changes to fuel emission standards, and stopping data collection on violence against the LGBTQ community. Chief political correspondent Michael Aaron put Grewal on the record to find out how he decides which lawsuits to take up.
I wonder whether these are things that you decide on your own, or whether you call Governor Murphy, or whether he calls you. To what degree are these your own decisions, or in concert with the governor?
These are 100% our decisions at the Attorney General's office. Certainly they align with the governor's priorities, but this is not a situation like you have in D.C. where the norms, the separation between the Attorney General and the President is eroding, and you see, that the President is interfering with the operations of the Attorney General's office. We have a governor here who respects the independence of the Attorney General's office, and he has given us wide berth. These are initiatives where, again, we have a great team. When we analyze the decision to join a lawsuit, to bring a lawsuit, to write a letter, to take a position, we have a metric. We see if it affects New Jerseyans, if it's like the DACA lawsuit. We have something like 20,000 Dreamers in New Jersey. Our economy would be harmed irreparably and irretrievably if DACA was repealed. I mean, these are people who grew up here, are as American as you and me, who have gone to school here, who work here, who contribute. So that's the metric. If it affects New Jerseyans, we get involved. And to this point, it certainly aligns with everything that the governor has put forward. Certainly there are conversations, back and forth on a variety of issues, but the decisions... Before the decision is made, I mean, do you consult the governor? No, these are our decisions. We are the chief law enforcement officer, and we're the chief legal officer for the state. Certainly there's discussion back and forth to keep people advised of positions we're taking, but, this is an independent office, and this administration treats it as such.
You can watch Michael's entire interview Saturday evening at 6:30 and again Sunday morning at 10:30. Ocean cities banned smoking on beaches, joining other shore towns in a movement that may go statewide. Governor Murphy is expected to sign into law a bill passed overwhelmingly by legislators that would make New Jersey the first state in the nation to ban smoking and vaping on all beaches and in all public parks. A Fairleigh Dickinson University Public Mind poll finds 75% of New Jerseyans oppose smoking and vaping on the state's public beaches. We leave you down the shore with a high-wattage wonder so dazzling it likely can be spotted from geosynchronous orbit. Lauren Wanko's here with a really big wheel.
The casinos aren't the only structures that tower over Atlantic City's boardwalk. At 227 feet tall, the new observation wheel on the steel pier has quite a view.
I think this is going to be the most iconic thing we do at this point.
Where did the idea come from?
Well, we're sitting on the Atlantic Ocean, and we probably have one of the best pieces of property in the United States. We are 1,000 feet out in the ocean. Our riparian grant goes almost 3,000 feet, but we have such incredible views. We said, what's going to accentuate it? What's just going to take it to the next level?
The entire project took about 4 years. It opened the day after Christmas. Steel Pier President Anthony Catanoso says he researched a number of manufacturers.
And it boiled down to a manufacturer in Italy who would galvanize the entire project, get the entire piece of equipment, because we are in the ocean. We're not on the ocean, we're in it. So the elements here are very, very hard on your steel. So everything we do out here has to be galvanized, and that was the only company that would give me a completely galvanized wheel.
Anthony and his team traveled back and forth to Italy to oversee the project. On the pier, crews poured the foundation.
Since the pier was designed for a 15 or 20-story hotel back in the 80s, we said we know we have the strength to hold the static load. Now we just have to figure out how to make it hold a dynamic load, because this is something that moves. It's not like a hotel.
100 trucks poured concrete.
The load was spread over the foundation, so we could bring in what you see are the 8 legs here that hold the structure. So that distributes the weight. So 700,000 pounds of wheel on 4.5 million pounds of foundation.
Anthony hopes the wheel will become a memorable part of Steel Pier's history. It first opened in June 1898.
It was named Steel Pier because of the steel girders that support it underneath. Previously, they didn't use that, so they used the construction to name the pier Steel Pier.
Stockton University's Heather Perez says the Steel Pier became popular right after it was built.
Atlantic City was at its peak, really, starting in the 1890s. People would flock from worldwide to come to Atlantic City and to see all of the different things that were here, and Steel Pier was a part of that.
There were wheels on the pier over the years, says Heather. Unlike some of the rides with open gondolas, these are climate controlled and enclosed. There are 40 gondolas on the wheel, and 6 people can fit inside each one. The ride lasts about 15 minutes, and there are sweeping views of the Atlantic Ocean and the boardwalk. The wheel is open year-round. It has 14,000 LED lights, which are on 24/7.
A lot of people said, this has become the Atlantic City Boardwalk nightlight.
Anthony's eager to see how many people visit this summer to take a ride over the ocean.
This means so much more to Atlantic City, though, because of our resurgence, our revitalization. We are really excited because this has become the centerpiece of that resurgence.
In Atlantic City, I'm Lauren Wonko, NJTV News.
And now some noteworthy facts that help you know Jersey. The New Jersey State Attorney General has filed more than 30 lawsuits against the Trump administration. The Northeast Corridor between Newark and New York Penn Station serves more than 200,000 passengers daily. Some 20 New Jersey shore towns have banned smoking on beaches, and Atlantic City Steel Pier is referenced in the Beach Boys song, Amusement Parks USA. If there's someone who you'd like to get to know Jersey, share. Use hashtag #KnowJersey. To share any story you've seen tonight, go to njtvnews.org. I'm Mary Alice Williams. For all the men and women of NJTV News, thank you for being here. Have a good weekend. Have a happy Father's Day and Eid Mubarak.
RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. NJM Insurance Group, serving the insurance needs of New Jersey residents and businesses for more than 100 years. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.